Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. It's Thursday. The weekend is nearly upon us, and I'm here to bring you more transfer news and gossip in regards of West Ham United Football Club. Hope you're all doing well out there in the world. Before I get started, it's been a mad 24 hours. West Ham. Nothing ever changes with this club. It never does. First off, before I go into any transfers, let's talk about an outgoing. And someone who is not here no more is Nevin. Nevin has ceased to exist at West Ham anymore. He has parted ways by mutual consent. Bit of a problem at West Ham at the minute, currently, that all our staff members keep wanting to leave the club, and that is not very good at this precise moment in time. I will say that. Um, Nevin, for me, was one of the best ones, and we've let him go. We've let all the decent ones go. The only one that I think personally wasn't decent is Warburton. I thought Pierce was good. I thought Irvine was good. I thought Nevin was good. When West Ham was good at set pieces and like doing their sort of tactics for that, he was very good. And for him to go, it's a bit of a major worry for West Ham. I will say that. Do you know what I'm saying? We're running out of bodies in the staff members, and if it ain't the playing staff, it's the staff members, which is a bit of a problem. So it's going to be interesting to get your thoughts on that in today's sort of stream and more. But we're going to talk about some players first, and I will come back to Mr. Nevin later on in the show. Let's start off with this man, Conor Gallagher, aged 23 years old. He has been linked that West Ham could be going shopping in West London and going to Chelsea and taking at least 2 to 3 players from Chelsea. What do I think of Conor Gallagher? He loves to go against West Ham, so that's a start. If we can get him to the club, then at least he ain't going to score against us. Is he the man for West Ham at 23? Not really. Not really for me. I'm not a fan. I never have been of him. I think he's a decent player, but I think Jazza just says it perfectly there. Conor Gallagher is a mid-table player, and we need to be aiming higher than that. 23 in the Premier League. He's played for Palace. I remember when he had a loan spell at West Bromwich Albion, I think it was, when they got relegated. He's never really settled at any club, and obviously he's gone to Chelsea, and Chelsea will probably look to get rid of him this summer. I'm not convinced. Not convinced, really. I think he's okay, but I think West Ham needs to be aiming a bit higher than him. 23 years old, there's room there. Do you know what I'm saying? And there's room there for development and improvement. Redders says here, it's not my first choice, but I wouldn't be angry about it. Yeah, I wouldn't be angry about it, but as you say, it's like, I agree, it's not my first choice either. Like, I think there's better players out there. But age 23 years old, he's young enough. It's the English quota and all, which helps us massively, like, because we haven't really got a lot of English players like the English quota at the club, and that's why we're trying to re-sign players to stay with West Ham for a long time. So yeah, for me, I'd probably give this one a pass. I wouldn't sign this man at all. I think if you could get him on loan for a season, maybe that's a shout, but that's about it really on him for me. Moving on to this man. Now, this one, Trevor Chalobah. Now, I like this kid. I thought he was quite a decent player at Chelsea. And when Chelsea turned around and said that they're looking to get rid of him, and West Ham was linked with him, I see saying on Twitter. Now, make what you make of it on Twitter. Yeah, you either believe it or you don't. Yeah. But for 24 years old, Premier League experience, decent player. Yeah. Decent for us, definitely. Yeah. I think this is a shout. I think this one is a doable signing for us. I think he can play in a back three. I think he can play in a back two. I like him. I really do. And I think for the fee, which I see saying between 18 to 27 million, I think it was, saying along them lines, I think this is worth it. This is worth the risk of a signing. Do you know what I'm saying? When It's very hard to sort of say about Chelsea last year, because Chelsea last year were fucking awful, let's be honest. But him in the side, in West Ham's side, makes us better straight away. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, the English quota yet again, so it helps us with that. And he can play in a lot of positions. He can cover a lot of positions. Do you know what I mean? If West Ham need to go into a back three, he's pretty comfortable in doing it. He carries the ball out well. His awareness is a bit iffy to say the least. But defensively, like one-on-one defending, I think he's pretty damn good. Also, he's got a bit of pace about him, this kid. So for me, it's definitely worth doing. Do you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't go any higher than probably, oh, yeah, 25 maybe. If someone said to me, "Would you sign for 20 million at 24?" I would. I think it's worth doing. Let's get into the chat, see what users are saying about him. Quite like Shalaba. Not seeing enough of him though. I agree. Jay Wood says Shalaba will be good. Anything below 15 is good. I don't think we're going to get him for anything below 15. I think we're getting for about, if we were to sign him and look to sign him, I think you've got to be looking at anything between 15 to say 25 in that ballpark. You know what I mean? He's young, he's English, like he's got this sort of quota behind him, so that makes him more valuable. Yeah, I think that's what it is. He's a very comfortable with the ball at his feet, which is very useful. I agree with Redders on that. I do like him, I must admit. And I'm not too sure how many games he's played for Chelsea, but he has played a fair few. I know that. Like, and he's been in their defence quite a few times. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think he's definitely worth the punt for me. If we're going to go to Chelsea and they want to get rid of him, um, I wouldn't do a loan with this geezer. I'd sign this geezer because I think a loan, like I think we've got to learn from the Jesse Lingard situation that if you really fancy a player, you've got to go for him all out because he could come to us, tear it up, goes back to Chelsea, and Chelsea sells him for a massive amount of money, which is not really good for us. So Trevor Shalabar is the man for us. Now, Callan Hudson Odoi. Right, where do I start with this? I see something the other day, and I couldn't believe it really. I looked at it and I went, "What the fuck is going on?" That's the first thing I said out loud. Yeah. Um. Basically, if Harvey Barnes is a no go for West Ham, Callan Hudson Odoi is the man. Yeah. I'm not on this vibe, even though he is 22. And for me, 22 years old, he can get better. But he's fallen massively off the edge of a cliff, this geezer. Like when he was 19, he was like tearing it up for Chelsea. And he was like, he wanted out of Chelsea. He wanted to go to Dortmund, I think it was, or buy Leverkusen. I think he actually did go to Leverkusen, if my memory serves me right. But he wanted out. He wanted out of Chelsea. He thought he was better than Chelsea. And even Bayern Munich was looking at him and everything. Now, if the fee is peanuts, he's worth the risk. Yeah, I will say that. It's all about the fee with me with this geezer. Because going to West Ham could be a stepping stone for him. Yeah, and it could help us. He's young enough to get better. He's young enough to sort himself out. But I don't want him to be the make weight if we don't get Harvey Barnes. That's the major thing with me. He can't be the make weight, like because there's levels. Harvey Barnes is in that moment. Callan Hudson Odoi most certainly isn't. He isn't at all. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like it's typical West Ham that will be to go for the cheap and cheerful option, which is this man. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not on that vibe. I really am not. I will say that. No. Hudson Odoi scored 8 goals, then 9 goals in consecutive seasons before dropping off. Amazing punt. He has been for anything less than 60 million. Wow. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't be as bad as people are making out. But is he? Is it worth it though? Like when you go from Harvey Barnes on one side, or you go for him, I think a lot of people would choose Harvey Barnes in this situation. Yeah, but it'd be typical West Ham, and this is where selling Declan Rice, the money has to be reinvested into the squad. Now, looking for a left-sided player, someone of sort of ability who's in their prime or coming up to their prime. This man is nowhere near in his prime. He's nowhere near it. Do you know what I mean? He's done absolutely nothing in regards of like looking like a player that he can be. Do you know what I'm saying? If anything, he's gone backwards. So that's a bit of a problem. That really is. And I just don't think that's worth the risk if I'm being honest. Awful football. Yeah, I agree. Trevor Chalobah is the modern day Phil Neville. Versatile. He's a great Moyes. Moyes would love him. Kent Hammers, hope you're well, mate. I agree on that. I do. I think Chalobah's definitely the talent. He's definitely 100% a talent. And I think he's the sort of player that needs to be like main choice at West Ham. Like if he was to come to West Ham, he would be, for me, he'd be a first team all day, like starter. And he can play multiple positions, which is good. I will say that. Not on Barnes' level, of course, but we go cheaper on the left, then we can spend big elsewhere. See, there's that's a valid point. Yeah, I will say that. Now, let me put this to the chat. I got 45 in. Please do smash a like on the video. Yeah, it goes a long way. Would you rather go less on the left and more in key areas? Obviously, defensive midfield is going to be a key area. Now, let me put it this way: if you go cheap on the left, and then you go and buy a centre forward of decent value, and then you buy two DMs, then then maybe you could accept that. But I think it's just a cheap option. Like so Daddy's just put it there brilliantly. Cornet, Hudson Odoi, they're both literally both the same. Do you know what I'm saying? And Maxwell Cornet was doing big things last year at Burnley, and where I am in Burnley right now, they absolutely love him. You know what I mean? So you know, it's a bit of a risk. That's all I'm going to say with Callum. No, from Kim Jong. Callum Hudson-Odoi has a massive point to prove. My question, because he said money earlier, is he still hungry enough? Yeah, yeah. See, the thing is with that, Ken, I will say this, yeah. Is it has he got the well, I agree with you, has he got the hunger, but does he even care? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Because like like, who's going to take him and wants him to come in and be the main man? Like, I think his ego is bigger than what the ability of the player is. If that makes sense. Like for me, I think he's a decent player. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't. I'm just not on that. I'm just not on it at all. I look at Harvey Barnes. I think he's young. He had a pretty decent season, like individually last season, considering Leicester went down. Now Hudson Odoi, like is he going to like? Is his nose going to be out of joint because he's coming to West Ham? Like you've gone from Chelsea, you've gone from like playing in Europe to West Ham, and for me, I just think that's a typical cheap West Ham signing. Yeah, they're looking at him as a cheap option. Right, it does make sense because he's in London. Maybe he doesn't want to move out of London. West Ham looking for a left-sided player, but something's got to give. Something's got to give. And I just don't think it's him, if I'm being honest. Extremely overhyped from the Zoomer. If we don't get Barnes, Ben Rama can be our starting left winger and Fornell's corner as cover and spend the money elsewhere. See, I disagree on that. Yeah, I really, really do. Right, I'm going to take this banner off quickly, and I'm going to get back to your comments, Sadetta. Yeah, I disagree on that because Maxwell Cornet, I think, can't be trusted. He just can't, in my opinion. Yeah, I think he hasn't done anything to show that he's going to go up to the Burnley player that he once was. Yeah. Like, and we are hoping rather than anything that he's going to come good. Ben Rama, and I see someone in the chat say Ben Rama needs to hold bench. Ben Rama needs to go as a 10, not as a left-sided player. Not if you're playing 4-3-3. West Ham need pace on the break, and Ben Rama, for how much I back him, and I do back him, he's not a pacey man. He's just not. Like he's not a sort of person that you can get the ball to and he can sort of break the lines and like explosive pace. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what West Ham need. Like Harvey Barnes is the man. He is the man all over. He's the sort of player that you have Barnes on one side, Bone on the other. That is nice. Yeah. I think Ben Rama for me, he needs competition and he needs to go centrally rather than like on the left hand side because there is games where I look at Ben Rama and I think you are getting massively like ruined over there because you're going literally round in circles on the left hand side. Do you know what I'm saying? These sort of triangle passes, but there's no end product. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, yeah, he shouldn't. Ben Rama might have to go either centrally or go on the bench and bring someone in who can sort of come in and take that role straight away. I will say that. Right, let's get to this man who's been linked. Edison Alvarez, Mexican international, 25 years old, all the way over in Holland for Ajax. His move with Borussia Dortmund has looked to have fallen through. So West Ham have come looking at him. Right. I've had a look at a few clips of him. Yeah. He looks all right. Yeah. But clips can lie. Yeah, you can look at clips and you can go, right, it's only gonna they're only ever gonna show the best bits of a player, never gonna show the worst bits of a player, right? So when I look at him and look at Alvarez, yeah, it's I don't know on this one. I really don't. He's one man that I am not sure about. Lucas is very much against having him at West Ham. Said basically Lucas is telling us he's absolutely fucking awful. Yeah. Now I don't know whether it's a good thing signing this man or not. Yeah, so really, this is over to the chat. This is where the chat comes in today because I've seen a little bit of him, but I'm going to be honest, right? I, for as much as I know about him, I don't really know a lot on him. I really don't. I think the fee has to be right. Uh, Someone says there for 45 million, nothing more. He's a solid DM. I won't pay 45 million for him. I know that. Uh, if I look at him and I look at Onana, I'd rather spend the money on Onana. I really would. Maybe probably between 25 to say 35 million for him. I would probably go with anything higher than that. I think is strong in it. It really is. Alvarez seems like a centre back playing in midfield to me. See, I've heard that. I've heard that quite a lot. I've heard people saying that he seems to slot in as a third centre half in certain games, like basically a bit like how Deck used to be. He'd slot in there, like if West Ham in possession, West Ham would go 4-3-3 out of possession. They'd slot into sort of like a 5-3-2. So yeah, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced on him, but I can't judge him because I just don't know. Edson Alvarez may play for Ajax, but Ajax trees down. Yeah. I want to pay 50 million for Paulinho. Really, really, you need to speak to Ajax fans to get a good judge. Yeah. Um, what it is, where sort of Mexico have played the USA, Lucas has been very much saying like, if you're getting dominated in midfield by the USA's midfield, then you're not really that good. Do you know what I'm saying? And that is a problem. Like, I think when you look at West Ham, like Sakaria looks like he's going to get done, right? I will say that as I take this banner off, right? Sakari looks like it's going to get done for about 18 million pounds, I think it is. I think it's like 12.6 million plus add-ons, which goes up to 18 million, which to me is a good value signing. Yeah, but we need more than him. We really, really do. We need like I reckon we need two big. West Ham need to make a statement signing. Yeah, losing Declan Rice is one thing, but bringing in people like Callum Hudson-Odoi isn't going to float anyone's boat. It really ain't. Like, if you want to make a statement signing, right, and I understand what people are saying about Paulinho. If you're to get Paulinho, then great, but I think we need more pace in midfield, in my opinion. I want to see some runners from midfield. Like, I think having a solid DM in there is good if you've got runners around him. Like, if you're only going to play him and one other, I think you're going to get found out. If I'm being honest. Dortmund were looking at him and their recruitment is 100%. Yeah, that's pretty true. Sakai for me is the six. Need to target a box to box to go next to him. See, I agree on that. I really, really do. I think it's big pressure on Sakari though. I will say that. Like, I will be doing a video when it is sort of announced. Yeah, when Sakari is sort of officially done. I will do a video on it. But I think you're putting a lot of pressure on a geezer who hasn't really played a lot of games in the Prem. That's the only thing I will say. Like, I would like someone to come in like an Onana or someone of that ilk just to sort of like a powerhouse. That's what we need in midfield. Because when you look at West Ham's midfield, because if West Ham are going to play 4-3-3 next year, yeah, they're obviously going to play like Paqueta as sort of the advancing midfielder with two sort of either DMs or box to box players next to him. Now, this is the argument I've had with the lads on this channel, yeah, and a lot of the lads are like, let's get Paulinho in. You know what he can do. He's in a defensive mould. I get it. I do. Yeah, I understand what people are saying. Right, he's a solid DM. He could be better at West Ham than he could be at Fulham. I understand it. The problem is it's the lack of pace in midfield that I worry about. Do you know what I mean? Because one thing that West Ham do need is people to pick the ball up and carry it. We haven't really got a lot of ball carriers in our team at all. Probably Jared Bowen is really the only one. Antonio can do it to a point, but that's hit or miss. And if West Ham are under pressure, and when West Ham are defending, I don't want West Ham to be sitting so deep that they just can't get out. And having like Paulinho in there, he's good defensively, but he's not going to get us up the pitch lively if we're going to play this sort of attacking, sort of counter-attacking sort of style. Do you know what I'm saying? Does Alex Scott count as a statement signing, beating off all the competition? For me, Alex Scott, and I had this debate with elite analysts yesterday, and elites wasn't really convinced with Alex Scott. He asked me what I've seen of him. Now, I've spoke to a few Bristol City fans, and they rave about this man massively. They say Alex Scott is going to be the next big thing. Um, I think West Ham need to start buying younger players to develop them and possibly sell them in the future. Do you know what I mean? Because look at it this way, we ain't going to start going out spending 50, 60 million pound on players every year. Just ain't going to happen at West Ham. Do you know what I mean? Like, and the only time West Ham have really had a good spend up is because they know that they had Declan Rice there. And now Declan Rice is not there. Obviously, West Ham have recouped some of that money. So Alex Scott would be a good signing for me. I think he's a sort of player that you could bring in and he could do some damage. He really could. Do you know what I'm saying? And West Ham need to. I think next season West Ham have no fear. Yeah, but obviously staying in the league is a major thing. Yeah, and obviously the turmoil in the backroom staff at the minute with all these staff members leaving is a bit of a worry for me. I ain't gonna lie, but Alex Scott for about 20 to 25 million is 100% worth it. Yeah, Jared Bowen we signed for that sort of fee, and he's done pretty well for us. Alex Scott can do the same. He really can. Sakari is a box to box. We need a six like a Nana or Paulinho to partner him. See, the thing is with that, yeah, and this is the argument I have. When people say Paulinho, other people say Onana. With Onana, he can do both. He can be box to box and he can be a defensive midfielder. I don't think Paulinho can do both. I think he's got one job description, and that is a DM. That's all he can do. And I think we need a bit of variety. I will say that. Gravy Dave, hope you're well, mate. Wonder if Steve around will be new number two. He's just left Arsenal. Good shout, Dave. I will say that. If our memory serves me right, did he work with Moyes at Everton? I'm sure he did. Yeah. If he has, that's going to be on the cards. That's going to be on the cards, Steve Round. And do you know what? If that's the case, that's the case. And we will see what happens with that. But yeah, Bowen can dribble, but even he isn't that quick. I agree. I'll say that. Pulled the plug on the Alvarez move to Dortmund and said he ain't worth 45 million. I agree with you, mate. I really do. He's not worth 45 million, 100%. And Onana, that's the Inter Milan goalkeeper you're on the back. It's not the other man. It's the wrong Onana as Damien comes in and saves the day. Do you know what I'm saying? But as we say, 45 million for him is a lot of dough. It's a lot of dough that West Ham shouldn't be doing. I am quite shocked with West Ham. I really am. It just seems like they're stripping away everything. Like they're doing quite a lot of stuff in a short space of time. Now, the photos come out earlier on that all the boys are back in training, and they look as happy as ever. But getting rid of all your backroom staff, and this is where the concern is with me, yeah. And I am pretty concerned about this situation, right? In regards of basically we're trying to do so much so quick. Like we've got to find a new captain, yeah, whoever that is. Now, whether that's Cresswell, or Bonner, Aguerd, Zuma, whoever, that's got to be addressed. Then we've got to sign some players, yeah. Moyes is getting rid of all these backroom staff are disappearing. Yeah, like it seems like they all disappear one every 6 months. We've just brought in a new technical director. Do you know what I mean? It just seems like West Ham are doing so much so quick, and I hope that this is going to work. Yeah, because if it don't, we're going to be drastically in the shit. Drastically. Do you know what I'm saying? And that is where my concern is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like trying to do one, like you should be doing one thing at a time, and like you're doing it sort of all at once. And if it works, then great. Like it's an amazing move. But if it don't work, then we're in fucking bother, gentlemen. I will say that. He looks average, James. Alvarez is a glorified centre back with way less ability than Rice. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I can't really judge him. I'd have to sort of really, really watch a few games with him. But yeah. X said he's looking at some promotions from the academy staff and are moving into the backroom staff. Maybe, maybe. Um, See, the thing is, the academy staff is all well and good, but Will Moyes bringing up academy players. Now, I see someone saying about Mbamba, right? That West Ham are looking to sort of bring him up to the first team. We discussed it the other day. For me, it's too early. It's miles too early for him. Yeah, because as much as we want him to do well, and I'm up, I'm always up for giving the youngsters a chance. I think he needs to go out on loan for a season, bang in 20, 25 goals somewhere, and then come back. I think you've got to use the loan system to our advantage at the end of the day, right? You really do. And when you don't, it like we've got a lot of players sitting there not doing a lot at the end of the day. So, are you watching the Ashes cricket? I see Mbamba is there today when he should be with the first team. Well, no idea on that. But sort of round it up from me on this, and then we're going to talk about Nevin. Yeah, did discuss it at the start. I'm going to discuss it again. Um, West Ham need to get their fucking act on. I ain't gonna lie. West Ham do really need to get some serious like getting Sakari in is one thing, but West Ham in sort of 10 days time or not, I think it's 9 days time. They're going to Australia, right? So I expect at least 3 signings in by the time they get on that plane to Perth. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just West Ham. It always is. Newcastle are leading the race to sign Harvey Barnes. Uh, yeah, that's a bit of a problem. I must admit, if they go and get Barnes, then it's just it's just a typical West Ham way. Like you wait so long, and this is where this Arsenal deal for Declan has become such a fucking problem. It has because we've had chances for targets that we should have been going for, and in the end, we've been waiting for them to sort of play ball, and now they've played ball, the targets are sort of disappearing. If Newcastle come into the fold there, and they can guarantee him first team football, he's going to Newcastle, isn't he? Just be real, he is like, and he ain't going to come to us, and which will be a shame. I will say that. People leaving out the part where Newcastle will only move for Barnes if they can shift Alex Saint-Maximin for 40 million. Yeah, but if a Saudi club comes in for him, I think they can get that. I think Newcastle will get that money. Do you know what I mean? Um, if he goes to Newcastle, he's guaranteed first team. You know, it is what it is at the end of the day. Allow us to go for Pedro from Sporting. I ain't going to pronounce his second name. He looked quality, although I heard Villa and others are chasing after him. I must admit, Villa's business this year, they look like they're on the ball this year. They've obviously signed that centre. I think they signed that centre half from Villarreal, who looks like a pretty decent player. Do you know what I'm saying? I remember Manchester United looking at him for a while, and you know, it's a good signing. Now I just see this. I know nothing about this geezer. Yeah, I will say that, and I'd see it just before I come live. For trainers, Dutch centre half, Mohammed Woven touch in the coming days. Now, anyone who knows about him, good luck because I know nothing about him. Hopefully, that could be to do with the Vlasic deal. Maybe West Ham might be able to sort of get this geezer over. And see that's where it irritates me with West Ham with signings like that because we're going for a bloke who, unless they've done their scouting on him, or it's one of Tim's boys, let's hope they've done the right thing. You know what I'm saying? I think filling Billing would cover a lot of cracks in the midfield. 6'6", more goals than Rice, and being left-footed would bring balance to the midfield. Yeah, he doesn't really get a lot of mention, old Billing. I will say that. I remember him from years ago. I can't remember who he used to play for though. Won't be surprised if we do a swap and some money for him. Yeah, I agree on that. 40 million on a centre back, I don't get it. Oh, that's a lot of money. If that's 40 million, 40 million pounds for a centre half. See, thing is, we do need a centre half, and when we done our sort of dream 11s the other day, wherever that drink's gone. Um, Hold on a minute, people. Okay. I use my big bottle of water. Um, when we done that Dream 11 the other day, we spoke about I was there, yeah. When we spoke about centre halves and all that, and people said about Zuma, yeah. I took Zuma out, but Bella Kocha for me is would be an ideal signing for West Ham. He's young, he's decent, his Southampton's got relegated. I think you can get him in at the club. 40 million for a centre half. That must something must be like telling me that he's absolutely quality. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's get to this one. Newman, Nevin, Pierce, Warburton, all leave. Any commentator? I think we all know. I think we all know. I agree on that. I'm going to leave that comment up there for a minute. Obviously, Newman going, I think, has been done a bit dirty, really. Um, I think Rob Newman, for me, was a very, very good. Like, look who he's brought in. He brought in Skamaka. He brought in Paqueta. Tilo Kehrer, even though he started off iffy, and he did start off iffy, has he been a bad signing for £10 million? I don't think he's been mega bad. I think he's got better as the season's gone on. Um, the Flynn Downs one is a Warburton signing all day, and we all know that. After that, who else is there really? Areola, possibly. Emerson was a good signing. Like when you look at Emerson, decent player, he's come in. I think it's 15 million. So I think Rob Newman got treated harshly. Nevin Pierce, they've had a falling out, haven't they? Let's be real. And that's all on Moyes at the end of the day. And I see saying earlier on before I come live, and people saying about there's a lot of stuff on Twitter in regards to Moyes and like there's a lot of hate out on Moyes now. The problem is Moyes is on thin ice. He massively is on thin ice now. Yeah, you can go and win the Conference League, and listen, a month ago, yeah, 29 days ago was amazing. Yeah, best moments like that we could have as fans. Yeah, but if we start the season and we started last season, that will soon drift away. That'd be a distant memory if we're struggling again this season. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, Moyes has got to get it right early in the season. He's got to stick to his tactics that he wants and not keep going for every player and every system to try and find the best one. That's just my opinion. We keep some players here for too long at this club and they end up getting old and having no sell-on value. Ultra 505, that is comment of the day. And I'll tell you the reason why I think that as I find my bottle of water, right? I absolutely agree, yeah. Now, I see people slandering and saying that Declan Rice is a Judas, right? For me, how's he a fucking Judas? Yeah, West Ham have just got 105 million for him. Yeah, he's never forced a move. He's never turned around and said that he wants. He's put a transfer request in or anything. He's just got his move. One thing with West Ham that we always have been and we always will be is we're sentimental with players. That's one thing we are, and we don't like letting players go. Like even though we want the best for our team, we don't like letting players go, and it fucking hurts us when we do. Yeah, so if West Ham was to use their loaf like Brighton, and when you look at Brighton and the talent that Brighton have like lost, like they've lost McAllister, Trossard, Basuma, just to name a few players, yeah, they've always managed to crack on and become better and better and better. And West Ham seem to sort of hang their hopes on one man rather than the team. So it is a problem at West Ham, but when you get emotionally involved, emotionally connected to a player, you know, people are gonna find it hard. I will say that. So it's 40 million euros, and they want, which is 34 million. I reckon with Vassage, you could probably get him for 20. Well, I'll tell you what, get it done, Korax. That's what I say. Do you think Declan Rice will make it to Arsenal's training ground without being stopped by just oil? Yeah, yeah. Imagine if one of them's a West Ham fan. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Let's have a little talk about Declan. Obviously, it all come out the other day. I don't think we done a video on it when it came out. Fabriziano sort of released it late. I think it was Tuesday night. I think it was, and I didn't do nothing yesterday. Yeah, in one way, Obviously, the video that comes out, the emotional sort of farewell video, is going to be hard to see. But I don't get the slander that he's getting. I really don't. I don't like him going to Arsenal. Don't get me wrong, and I say it quite openly. I think he had better choices and better options. And to go to Arsenal for a project is one thing, but going there to win trophies is something completely different. It is, you know what I mean? So I'm not really on that train. Um, he's never put in a transfer request. He's never down tools. West Ham have been shit for well, yeah, for a long time over the last sort of 10 years, yeah. And it's only recently that since Declan Rice has been in the team, West Ham have done amazing things. Semi final of one competition, winners of the other competition. Yeah. So you can't really give him no hate. You really can't. I just don't get the hate on him. Do you know what I mean? I don't like him at the minute for what he's done. But when I look back on this in, say, 2, 3 months' time, I will look at what he'd done for the club when he was here. Do you know what I'm saying? Um, it's more on now the owners of this club to turn around and say, right, these are the players that we need to go and get these players through the fucking door, get them through the door. Like I do not want to see West Ham sitting there come the middle of July and they've only signed Sakari, yeah, because that's just not on. That's like I look at other clubs and they're doing business, they're getting deals done straight away. And what I don't like is West Ham always sort of hanging about and trying to attack it at the end of the window. Now the end of the window is the end of August. Yeah, but the season starts on August the 12th. Now, that to me just makes no sense whatsoever when West Ham do that. Yeah, and they always muck about. Yeah, for like the cheap bargains. So, yeah, it's not on deck. Deck can go, but it's all about Moyes and the board getting the players in there. I will say that. Rice doesn't deserve hate. You can't blame him for wanting to leave. He hasn't said one bad word about us. He's a good lad. I agree, mate. I really do. People are angry that he's joined Arsenal. I hate Arsenal, but their project is exciting. The only thing with their project is, Chris, and someone put it, I think it was Fabriziano put it up there the other day. Yeah. And he turned around and said, oh, well, he's joined it for the project. Declan Rice was worked on massively for months. Yeah, he was worked on by Arsenal. Arsenal identified him probably back in January, and I know that for a fact. Yeah, because someone who I know who I trust said to me that there was contact or speaking. Arsenal was speaking in regards to Declan Rice. Yeah, so for me, Deck was worked on for a long time, and that's the reason why he never even thought about Manchester City, because Manchester City have come late to the party, and Deck was already been worked on by Arteta and everyone at Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? And he's probably getting stuff in the at England saying about comes to Arsenal and all that and everything. So I'm not really worried about their project. I think Arsenal's project is exciting, but it's no different to Manchester United's, Liverpool's, and everyone else's. Really, I think they've had a good season. You will see the real Arsenal this season. If Arsenal turn up this season and finish, say, second, and they compete for the title all the way to the end and get done, or they win the title, then I will eat humble pie. But um, I don't think Chelsea are going to be as bad as they were. Liverpool definitely are not going to be as bad as they were. I think no one really gives Newcastle the credit that they deserve. I don't like. I think Newcastle have come from bottom of the league last season, managed to get safe to finishing in the Champions League. If Newcastle go out and sign some good players, which they are targeting some very, very good players, they will be a force. I think Manchester United, even though I'm not a fan of Manchester United at all, I can't stand Man United. You've got to respect what they done last season. They finished in the Champions League position and got to a final of two competitions. I don't think Arsenal can match the same level again as they did this season. You know what I mean? So, but we will find out. We will find out what happens there. Who's Vinny? Who is staying? Nevin's gone. Walton's gone. Long queue of players who want to leave. Rumours. There's problems, mate. I remember doing the show with Gio just before the cup final. Done a show with him, and I always say this on the streams when I talk about what's going on because Gio see it as much as I did. And Gio turned around and said that he's worried about this season for a lot of reasons. Obviously, debt going and literally, it's a total restructuring of West Ham United in one season. That's a dangerous game. I don't care what anyone says. That is massively dangerous. Like you're trying to do everything all at once. Um, So I am nervous about it. I really am. And as soon as they get some players in, might lighten my nerves. Nothing but love for the guy. 6 good years, a trophy, good price. Hope he wins. Sweet fuck all with them. Totally agree with you, mate. I really do on that. Uh, the hypocrisy of some of our fans is laughable. Love the fact that we get the money, but hate the fact he's leaving. You can't have it both. See, I agree on that. I really, really do. Well, that's another great comment there from Corex. Yeah, I agree on that. If we would have got it, if you'd have forced a move, and you would all put a transfer request in and fucking give us nothing but ag, and made Arsenal pay us, let's say, 80 million, then I could understand the hate. But we got 105 million for him in the end through him just staying out the way of it. Don't think, listen, I don't think Declan Rice has got a bad bone in his body in regards to West Ham United. I will say that. I think he respects West Ham a hell of a lot because West Ham took the chance on him when no one else did and made him the player that he is. Declan Rice isn't the player he is today without West Ham United. And that's a fact. Yeah, West Ham have, and that's why West Ham's academy, in my opinion, does produce some amazing players. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't produce enough of them, I will say that, but when we do, we provide people with winners, and Declan Rice will be a winner of of things, whether that's with Arsenal or with England. So yeah, I just don't understand it. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I was angry that he was going, and that's coming from me. I was very, very, very angry that he was going to Arsenal because I'm not on that train with this project. I think it's okay having a project, but if you go to win, you want to go and win trophies, you go to Manchester City. That's it. Like you just go there and you know that they will come to you. Do you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is with him. Let's get down here. Let's just skipped a bit, but we will get to him. Correct. It's a snake move to tell the club and the other suitors that the only club he'll go to is the one of our local rivals. See, I disagree on that, Epic. I really do, man, because I don't think this is all on deck. I think he was, as I say, I think he was worked on for months, and I think if you're building a relationship up with people, especially people at England, it's very easy and very like easy to turn other people away when you built a relationship with people like Saka and things like that. So yeah, I disagree on that one, man. Ralph, I blame Moyes. Yeah, yeah. Thing is with Moyes, it's catch 22, isn't it? Like if you don't, I always said this: if he doesn't win the conference, he would have been gone because he won the conference. He gets sort of benefit of the doubt, so he gets it right. Obviously, be out the door by October. One Declan Rice every 3 years would make West Ham brilliant and rich. Declan has done well for West Ham. I totally agree on that. The fact alone that Arsenal will be playing the Champions League football will hinder them in the league. Totally agree with that. Bayern Munich drops out of the race because he told them he was only go to Arsenal. Uh, who knows how high the price would have been after the genuine bidding war. I think no one was going to come in there and go absolutely mental epic. I will say that. I don't think people were going to come in there and start bidding 120 million. Declan Rice, for me, when we done a show on it towards the back end of the season, we all turned around and said, what would we be happy with, and what do we realistically think we'll get for Declan Rice? And a lot of people said, if you get 100 million for Declan Rice, then you've had a result, and we got 105. Yeah. So in one way, there was never going to be a bidding war because City just don't do bidding wars. I think Manchester United, with the way their ownership structure is at the minute, they can't do nothing at the minute at present. So, um, yeah, I'm not, there was never a bidding war. I think he was always going to go to Arsenal, but West Ham had control to say, if you want to sign this man, you've got to pay us the money and the structure that we want. Otherwise, he stays here. And I think he would have stayed if they couldn't have reached an agreement. But he was the worst thing Arsenal done was reveal that he was their number one target in the summer transfer window. The moment they done that, they fucked themselves right over because then Sullivan went, right, we know you really want him. Yeah, you're going to have to pay. And Sullivan drained them for every pound, pence, and cent going. So, yeah. I don't get the hate on Rice. He has gone on and improved himself. He's own chance of winning trophies. He has never done anything against the club, but I just hope Arsenal don't win anything. The only thing I will say on that, Joe, is if he goes and kisses the badge of Arsenal, that's going to hurt. That will hurt. Obviously, we all remember that night in Lyon last year when he scored the goal and he kissed the badge. He looked up at the fans and he loves the fans. I think if he goes and kisses the Arsenal badge, I think that sort of love affair or distant love affair will be gone. I think it will be gone. Bayern will never go that high for him. Also, he's got a young family. He won't want to go to Germany. Afternoon, Snazzy. I hope you're well. From sunny South London, all the way from he's all the way over from South. Which side do you go to if you want to stay in London? But if you want to, the best chance of winning silverware, apart from West Ham, of course. Well, there is only one place, and that would probably be Arsenal at the minute. But I think people are ruling Chelsea out like they're nothing. That's the one thing I will say. And Chelsea have got a lot of problems, but they've still got talent there. Do you know what I'm saying? But is what it is. Nagelsmann or Potter is going to replace Moyes mid-season. God, we got Nagelsmann. Fucking hell, that'd be amazing. I think Graham Potter. I think someone said it to me on the space about Graham Potter, yeah, and I thought, you know what, they've hit the nail right on the head there. I think the structure that he had at Brighton helped made him look better than what he actually was. Like with the Brighton structure and the way Brighton do their business, I thought Potter done well, but look at what De Zerbi's doing at Brighton right now. Like unreal. And he took Brighton up to another level. I think Potter, I think he's just another version of Moyes, in my opinion. T Lady, the janitor, the coach driver are also leaving West Ham. Are Brady and Sullivan next? For me, someone said this to me about who was it? I think it was Baz. About 2 years ago. He said, "Don't be surprised when they come to selling the club. Yeah, they're going to acid strip away all the players and all the staff and everything, and leave West Ham bare. And that is the one thing I do fear this season. West Ham can't be bare now. That's one thing they can't be. Like, do you know what I mean? This, for me personally, for how much I will give Sullivan praise for the deal on Declan Rice, and people won't give him no praise. Yeah, I understand that. I despise David Sullivan. Yeah, I fucking hate him with a passion. But I've got to give him praise on how he took Arsenal apart in that transfer deal, and he's helped us out as fans. Yeah, that he will only help us out if we sign players. If we don't sign no players, then right, he's done it for himself at the end of the day. But I don't think he's here this time next year. I think Sullivan will. I don't think he'll sell the club because someone said this to me. He said what he'll do, he'll just lower his stake in the club. I think he will pass on his stake down to his family members and things like that. Sullivan, do you know what I mean? But I think Kadinsky's the man. And I'm not being funny. One thing I will say about Kadinsky, yeah, is what the fuck is he doing? Yeah, because Kadinsky should be getting more involved here. He's the second majority shareholder. Like I know it's the final word with Sullivan, but why we got this man who's got billions and billions and billions, and we're the sixth richest club in the Premier League, I think it is, or the 20th richest club in the world, or whatever, and we're going out and acting like a small club. It's just a mentality thing with me. Jimbo, can you react to Alfie's Nan's viral speech on Twitter? A true hammer is West Ham Online 5. I spoke to Alfie today. Yeah, me and Alfie have had many clashes, but I've got to give him his due. His Nan does speak more sense than him. Um, yeah, I understand what his Nan was saying. One thing his Nan did say that a lot of younger fans don't understand is the London rivalry. Yeah, and he said going to a London club isn't the move. Like it just isn't the move. But I did see was it Anton Ferdinand retweet it, and I said to Alf, I said, Alf, you've made it, mate. You've made it. But Alf is currently working. I did speak to him earlier on, and he's doing very, very well. I agree, James. Bayern wouldn't have gone higher, and City made their offer. Price was gonna the price was about as good as it was gonna was getting. I agree. I really do. Potter's an XG merchant, yeah. Bloke can't score goals. My Chelsea mates used to fume with Potter. I agree. I've got a spare flight to Perth if you want it. No, mate, I'm good. That's a long ass journey. The moment he kisses the badge of Arsenal, he is dead to everyone at West Ham, surely. He and his family are Chelsea fans. He has already turned on one London team by kissing our badge, so he may do that. I disagree on that. I think Chelsea burnt him. I've always said that with Declan Rice. I've said that for as long as I've been doing the YouTube game, which is coming up to 2 years in September. I've always said he got burnt when he got rejected by Chelsea. Yeah. And if he would have went back to Chelsea, I wouldn't have liked it, but I could have understood it because he's a Chelsea sort of boy. Yeah. But I think I think with Declan Rice, he takes it personally, things, and he's like, no, you ain't, I won't go back there. Right. So, yeah, it's just a shame it's an Arsenal, though. Another season of struggling coming up under Moyes in the league. No cup wins is on the cards. Yeah. It's the way of footballers now to show their commitment to a new club. Rice did it to Chelsea and us, and also turned an Ireland for us. Listen, I get what you're saying, Joe. Yeah, I do. Right, but I don't think he's done anything fucking bad, Deck. Well, he hasn't turned his back on us. Now, when you look at Arnautovic, people fucking love Arnautovic, but Arnautovic got involved with fucking gambling and fucking putting himself in the right shit situation. He had to fuck off to China. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think Deck's done anything wrong. I think Sullivan has basically cashed in. In my opinion, I look at Declan Rice and think, right, what's Sullivan done there? I think Sullivan has just looked at it and gone, this is Declan Rice at his peak. Now, right, this is the most you're ever going to get for this man. Right, you're not going to get no more from this man this season. So you're going to have to, if you're going to sell him, you've got to sell him now. Yeah, and I think Sullivan thought, right, I'm going to cash in on him because the time is right. Now, I don't like it, but if we go out and sign 5 players, 5 or 6 really, really top players, and we benefit from the sale of Declan Rice, then Declan Rice will just be another player who's left West Ham United Football Club. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Payet, for instance, when Payet was at West Ham in 2016, he could have went on to be an £100 million player easily. He's one of the best players in Europe. He's the best players at the Euros. They're like, and West Ham got rid of him and sent him back to fucking Marseille for 25 million. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And literally, so I think Sullivan looked at it from a business point of view and went from there. Do you know what I'm saying? And as we say, look, you sold your star to Mikel Arteta. Listen, you can have your star, mate, but you got fucked by an OAP, and that's in David Sullivan. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can have the star, but you will always be shafted by an old age pensioner. That's not a good look, trust me. Especially when it's David Sullivan, who's had more brasses than anything. I get the impression that Kadinsky isn't interested in us. He seems more interested in upping his shares in other businesses like Sainsbury's. See, the thing is, Ultra, yeah, and I don't not disagree with you, and I've always sort of stood by Kadinsky and said, well, let's wait and see what he does, right? But Kadinsky doesn't have the final say. That's the problem. Kadinsky's just like another puppet in the room, isn't he? Like Sullivan has the final say, and what goes is what comes out of Sullivan's mouth. So, yeah. Average age of our team with no pace can see us fighting relegation all season. Yeah, I know, mate. I know it's a bit of a concern. Don't get me wrong. I'm not digging Rice out, and I agree he hasn't done anything wrong. I'm just dreading the time he kisses the Arsenal badge and believe he will do it. Yeah, that's not good. Should have given Oggy a coaching job instead of a new playing contract. Well, good point. Let's talk about him. Andrew Bonner got his new 1 year deal. It was always on the cards with me, with him. When we was talking about it before, and people were saying, "Who do you think can stay? Who do you think to go?" I always thought Bonner would get a new deal. Yeah, and let's be honest. A year and a half ago, he had a major injury of Bonner, and we thought we'd never see him again. And I remember going to a friendly last year, yeah, and seeing him for the first time in the white West Ham shirt after his injury against Manchester United. I think it was in the FA Cup the season before, yeah. And when I see him, I spoke to the lads and I said, he's fucking gone, mate. He's gone. There's no way Bonner's coming back. He's getting roasted by like National League players. Do you know what I'm saying? He ain't going to cut it. But I must admit, he has come back from like the brink really, and I think he's a good backup, but he's not third choice. That is the thing. That's why West Ham do need another centre half at this club. I think Abona comes in when you are literally down to your bare bones, and he's a good fourth choice player to have for a year on like small fee, but I wouldn't I wouldn't strong it with him as a third choice. West Ham need to go out and get centre half now. Whether that is whether that's Chalobah, whether that's the geezer from Torino, whoever it may be, that has to be the main thing. Covering centre half for Abona, Zuma and Agued. Yeah, because Zuma can't be trusted to keep fit all season. I will say that. And if Zuma goes down, then we're scrambling about for centre halves. Ben Johnson can't go in there as a centre half. Tilo Kehrer is definitely not a centre half. I see people saying about him being a centre half. He's not. He's not. I want solid centre halves at the back. So West Ham need to go out and get a third choice centre half. Someone who's going to come in and possibly be the future of West Ham. So yeah, Abona, love him, but I think it's just a cheap option yet again. It's the right option in one way because if he's full choice, as long as we go and get another centre half, Sullivan will give you 30 million and run off with the rest. Oh, thanks for that, Arsenal for life. Thanks for letting us know what our owner is going to do. I heard a rumor you were interested in Alvarez. Mate, I'm going to be real. I don't want that twat anywhere near our club, mate. I think he's absolutely crap. Fair enough, he can run, but that's all he can run. He can run around the block. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't want him. That's all. Bono Oggy would be a good coach, and personally think his time is up as a player, especially as important. His injury made the time short. Yeah, yeah. I've dropped a like though. I do enjoy you in 20. Arsenal for life. No worries at all, mate. Please do smash a like on the video. Everyone else, your likes matter, as they always say. Your likes matter. Let's see what Peter's going to say. Should have give. Yeah, I've read that out earlier on. See, I agree on that. I really do. Obama, a 1 year extension is good enough, I suppose. It really is. It worries me that we fly out to Oz in 2 weeks, and it's only 5 weeks to the Bournemouth game. Anyone we bring in after the next week won't get more than a couple of weeks training with the team. See, the thing is with that, yeah. Now, that's a good point. That is a very, very good point, which I'm going to do. Have a look at my phone now while I speak to you. Is that we do go to Perth, West Ham, and basically we're not over there. We're not over there for long. I think we're only over there for about 6 days, I think it is, right? And then we come back, and then we've got a lot of games in sort of Europe, mainland Europe. Yeah, right. I'm going to read them out to you now. Yeah, we've got Perth on the 15th of July, which is what, 9 days away? Yeah, 9 days away, right? 15th of July. So it's a week on Saturday. Then on the Tuesday, we've got Tottenham, which is obviously in Australia. And then obviously we're back on the 22nd against Dagenham and Redbridge, which will be a sort of makeshift like youth thing over there. Probably you might see the odd signing if we sign someone. Like we might see a new signing over there. Someone just who hasn't gone to Australia, so have come over and done their thing. And then on the 29th and the 5th of August, we've got 2 games. We've got Rennes, I think it's in France, and Leverkusen. Now, obviously, Tim's going back to his old stamping ground against Alonso. So, and after that is the start of the season. So I think there's 2 big games there, like in Rennes and Leverkusen, where you can sort of see new players. But West Ham need to act, and they need to act fucking sharpish. Yeah, keep pondering around. And I see other clubs get deals done like that, and it just seems like West Ham take forever a day to sort themselves out. If you do invest the money wisely, it could benefit you. But do you trust Moyes to spend it? Uh, Even though you're an Arsenal fan, we will give you this one. Arsenal for life. Do I trust Moyes to spend it? The problem we've got at West Ham, and I'm gonna speak for myself because I can't speak for everyone else. Yeah, I'm not like West Ham online. Um, I'm nervous with Moyes in regards of having a lot of money and spending it because with a man who's got 1 year left on his contract, a man who has got a lot to prove this season, especially in the Premier League, it could go bad. And then we could have a load of players that a new manager might not want. If Moyes is not picking these players, and these players are coming in to fit a sort of structure at West Ham, that's a completely different topic of conversation altogether. Yeah. So I'm a little bit nervous, if I'm being honest. Like, you either back Moyes or you sack him. Now, they ain't going to sack him. Sullivan's come out and said that. He said, there's no way we're going to let Moyes go. The only time Moyes will go is when if he chooses to go. But there's nothing stopping him from not renewing his contract. And Sullivan's a bit old school like that. He's not one for sacking managers, and he doesn't want to do it again like he did before. When he did it before, he had to eat a bit of humble pie. David Sullivan don't eat humble pie, mate. That's what I'm going to say on that. I'll take Tavares. I wouldn't pay 30 million for him. Fucking, I wouldn't pay 10 million for him, Damien. What are you on about? Our money he spent on midfielders and strikers, in my opinion. No way I'm paying 30 million for that geezer, mate. Trust me. Absolute no chance. Absolute no chance. But our first game was 15th. Not fly on the 15th. God dear. I'm losing faith in the ability. Wrong thing to announce would be to take 80 million for Paqueta and tells the club he's open to offers. God dear. Mind you, with Moisey bedding in system, we won't see any new players till November. That is another thing, yeah. High peaks. I will say that, yeah. That's one thing that is also a bit of a concern with West Ham this season. Is the amount of players that we're going to have to sign who we need to hit the ground running straight away. Like, when you look at our midfield, we have got no midfield. We've got Flynn Downs and Thomas Suchek as our midfielders at the minute. That is a worry, and that is a concern that we're going to have to buy midfielders to come in and literally they can't have a season to bed in. They need to hit the ground running straight away. So that is definitely a concern. It really is. For once, I'm with Sully, not to give Moyes any money to spend until he disappears. Fucking hell, mate. Well, we need some players, mate. Oscar Dean, Jimbo. It's so frustrating, isn't it? That the fact that we're doing it again, waiting for sales to go through before we buy anyone. We always miss out. If we miss out on Barnes, how disappointing. I'll be gutted, mate. Oscar, I'll be gutted. I'll be absolutely gutted, but I'll be angry and all because West Ham need to act. And like, this deal for Declan Rice is just dragged on and on and on. And what I can't understand is if you know you're selling a player, you're selling for a lot of money, and it's all been agreed. He's got to do the medical and all that. And once he passes the medical, which he should do, he's a young lad. He don't get injured. The deal's done. So why are West Ham not on the phone to other man? Like, Sakari looks like it's going to get done. I will say that, but we need more than him. Like, we need a lot more than him. So why are West Ham sort of stalling? But I'm not going to judge it just now until the end of the window. But what pisses me off and what really does fucking grind into me is West Ham are going to wait till the 31st of August, like, to go and try and get a few bargains and all that. It's like West Ham do, and this is where Sullivan comes into play, because a proper owner wouldn't be treating West Ham like a market store and trying to get cheap bargains everywhere. Do you know what I'm saying? Is what it is, though. That's him. We're attractive enough to come to as a player. Don't like Moyes ball. Carl, West Ham have got European football again, yeah, and we still can't attract players. That is just mad. If it was me, I would invest more in the youth that still have a good sell on value in the future. See, I agree on that. But it's Moyes, he don't invest in the youth, though. Do you rate Ings signing when you heard about it, James? I'll be honest, Alfie was the man who basically was totally against the Danny Ings signing. When we announced Danny Ings, Alfie turned around and said it's going to be an absolute flop. And I think, I can't remember if it was me or Mitch, turned around and said, nah, you're being negative. You're like, there was a bit of backwards and forwards with us three. But Alfie got absolutely spot on. I thought Danny Ings would be all right, but he's not all right at all. He's not all right at all. And my opinion would be sell him now, get him off the wage bill, and go and get someone like Brojo or someone younger. I really would. See, people are against the signing of Broja, but for me, he's 21, I think he is. Like, and if Angelo Bonner can get over an injury, so can Broja. Do you know what I'm saying? And since Oggy's come back from his injury, he hasn't been that bad. He hasn't been like absolute ripped to shreds. If anything, in some games, he's been probably one of our best defenders. So, yeah, I definitely would get rid of Danny Ings if it was me. I really would. Shame, really. Yeah, so look. Both Brighton and Villa are more attractive clubs if you were competing with them for players. That's just bad, though, isn't it? Yeah. Brighton are now thinking about Sakari now. Barnes is off to Newcastle, I think. Yeah, I know. It's a shame, mate, for what I'm hearing. What we got here? Villa and Brighton give youth a chance. I think not so much Villa, even though they've got Jacob Ramsey. Brighton do. Like when you look at Evan Ferguson, 18 years old, 18, 19 years old, they look how much they give him a chance. And he's highly rated and looks like he's going to go on to do big things. But, I don't know what's happened to me StreamYard, but everything's just bouncing all over the gaff. But for me, with Evan Ferguson, these Brighton do give it a go. Do you know what I'm saying? And they do try their best and get it sorted out. So we will see what happens there. That's better. Some of the signings Villa are going after are top quality, yet they will be in the Conference League. We will be in the Europa League. Emery is obviously a much more attractive manager than Moyes. Thing is, the big question is who's going to come to Moyes when basically Moyes has only got a year left? That's the problem. Right? You've got a manager who's only got a year left. So if someone signs for David Moyes, they don't even know if 12 months' time he's going to be here. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that is just the sort of major issue at West Ham. I don't think Broja's injury record is worse than Ings, and he still has something to prove. I just think the age difference, high peaks, if I'm being real, like the age difference on Broja is massive to where Danny Ings is at. And I think, like, for the fee that Chelsea are looking at between 15 to 20 million, I think someone reported 17 million. I just think it's worth the risk. I really do. Supposedly we're in a bidding war with Juventus for Jonathan David. See, Jonathan David, yeah. I like Jonathan David. I always have liked him. I called it last year. I said West Ham need to go out and target him. Yeah. But it's just West Ham, though, mate. It's just West Ham. I will say that. Right. Before I come to the end, chuck in your questions. Any questions you want to ask? Right. No nonsense questions. I will answer them as best as I can. So chuck them in there. Tell me what you think. We need about 6 to strengthen the squad, but can see about 4 leaving. See, I agree on that. Yeah, I've called that from minute one. I turned around and said that we at least the minimum 6. I definitely think we need a centre half. Well, that's the first thing. I think right back is a bit of an issue at West Ham. I think you've got Kera there, you've got Kufal there, you've got Ben Johnson there. You don't really know which one's going to be like the proper right back. I think maybe get rid of Ben Johnson and getting in and like Aaron's would be a shout. It would be a shout for me. People are saying about Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is fucking pony, if I'm being real. I think the left hand side is a bit of a problem, but then you've got a lot of covering players who can play on the right and left. Obviously, I think we need 2 central midfielders, if not 3, right? Because Lanzini's gone. I heard rumours that they was looking at sort of putting Fornells as sort of like a midfielder, which wouldn't be a bad shout. He's not a left-sided player, so that's not a bad shout. We definitely need a left-sided attacker. I think we need a striker at his club. I think you got three strikers in Ings, Antonio, and Skamaka, and you just don't know which one of them's coming or going. In my opinion, which is a bit of a problem for me. It really is. Like West Ham need to nail that one down straight away. So, yeah, I think we need. I think we need at least 6. At least. Let's get you to your question before I wrap this up. Exactly. Broja was the number 1 target last season. I'll definitely take a punt. Like you said, if Oggy can get over it, young Broja should be fine. I agree, Oscar. I really do. I look at him and I look at Broja and I think the fee was more the thing with me last year. Now, I'll be honest with you, because as I always am, I was totally against signing a Broja last year. I was always on the Skamaka train because I thought giving Broja, and even though Broja had a very, very good season with Southampton, I think Chelsea went like something like 40 million for him. I thought that's a bit strong. That is. But their 40 million value has gone down to 17 now, or it's between 15 and 20. That is value, in my opinion, and that's worth it. So, yeah. It's like players finishing school holidays, listening to the same boring teachers. We need a change and fresh ideas. I agree, mate. I really do. In 12 months is too much. End of December is the deadline. No successful planning at this club, which is why we are in shit every transfer window. Rice replacement should have already been signed last summer. See, I agree with you there, Will. Yeah, I do. Yeah, but I will say one thing on that. What I can't understand is if you know that Declan Rice is leaving, and you know that you're going to look to sell Declan Rice at the end of this transfer window, where's the plan in there? Like what they've been doing behind the scenes? Like, have they not gone out and pinpointed at least one player? Like, and it just feels like to me when I see the links of players, yeah, it doesn't feel like they've been scouted. These players, it seems like because they've had a good season, we'll go for him. Like Paulinho at Fulham, they've gone for him because he had a very, very good season last year. Yeah, James Ward-Prowse, I keep hearing that name mentioned so many fucking times. Yeah, he's all right, but like you're going for a relegated side's players. Yeah, and I think if Southampton were in the league, you wouldn't get him. So who are you trying to plan for? And I just don't understand where the sort of the planning is of West Ham in regards to Declan Rice. Like, and knowing that you're losing probably the best player West Ham's had for a good few years, like who is targeting these players? Who's scouting them? Like, I don't know. I don't know. And that's that one thing I don't like with West Ham. I really don't. How long do you think Stamford will suffer Moyes? About 6 months, probably. Johnson will go to Everton, I think. Yeah. What's your top signings for each position? One player only. Defender, midfielder, attacker can be any of the positions. Right back, left back, winger, striker. For me, striker wise. See, I like the Coventry striker, which Alfie spoke about the other day, but he looks like he's on his way to Sporting Lisbon. Jonathan David would be a good player, I think, for us. I think he would. I think it's the pace that we need. Um, I like Broja. I do. Like, I think for the fee, I think give him benefit of doubt on the injury. I think he's a very, very decent player who can become better. Player that we spoke about today in regards of Shalabar, I will take a punt on him. I really would. I think at 24, he's Premier League proven. He can play in sort of different systems. Like I think Kent said it earlier on. I made Kent 100% right. He's like a Phil Neville type player. He can play in multiple different positions, and he's pretty decent doing so. So I'll definitely have a shout at him at centre half. But we definitely need a covering centre half at this club. I think the central midfield positions. Now I'm no scout, but Onana would be one. Or he would have to be one. Um, Sakari looks like that's going to happen. So I think we need one more sort of high caliber quality player. Now the problem is what like the best player we've got at the club is Paqueta now. If we lose him, then we're in shit big time. Right, let's get down to here. I posted the one that got away about Onana on social media in a few games into the season and got stick for it. What do you know? We're back. We're back in for it. Yeah. Get Rodri in from Leeds as he will hit the ground running, unlike others we linked to abroad. Ooh, don't know about that. Is it Got no or Go now? I can't remember his fucking name, but he's a decent player. As you know, stuff which isn't public is anything that can spill the beans on. Downs was supposed to be. What do you think of the AC Milan trying to do a swap Origi for Skamaka? Oh dear. See, I don't know about everyone else, but I'm on the train that I think Skamaka could be a really, really good player. Really, really good player. I just think first season syndrome at West Ham. I think when you look at Origi and you look at him, I think Skamaka's ceiling's a lot higher than Origi's. I think Origi's when he was at Liverpool, he didn't really play a lot of games. He was always on the bench and he always used to come on as a sub. And at AC Milan, if they're trying to get rid of him, obviously he's been on the subs bench for quite a lot. I don't know about that one, mate. I wouldn't mind Origi at West Ham, but not in spite of Skamaka, in my opinion. Uh, no, 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 not Origi. Ultras said no on that one. Right, let's have a look. What else we got here? Is that it? I'm not a fan of Skamaka, but I'd rather stick with him than Origi. Cool, yeah, I agree on that. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there, gentlemen and ladies of all ages. Um, I'll be back soon, obviously, to talk about Sakari. I think basically that deal will probably get done in the next sort of 72 hours, I think. I think West Ham are closing on him. Decent player, decent fee. Um, but West Ham need to sort of pull some fucking players in and sharpish. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think he will be a good player for West Ham. But yet again, I'm just a bit concerned that we're going for players who really ain't really getting looking elsewhere. It's like make weights, really. Do you know what I'm saying? I do think we need at least one signature like star man to come in. So I mean, like Paqueta last season was the man who come in and he was he was like, wow, we've signed this geezer. We need to see another one again, if not two. Um, so we will see what happens with that, and we will go from there. Anyway, from me to you, have a good one wherever you are, and we'll be back again soon.